You can play this game with a 3 or 6 button controller, but I highly recommend using a 6 button controller, as using 3 buttons will make using items much slower since you have to scroll through them with the C button. As for the 6 button controller, the X, Y, and Z buttons represent items 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Pressing one of these buttons will use the item in that slot immediately. The A button punches, B is jump, and C can be whatever you change it to in the options. Its default function is to block, but you can change it to scissor kick, Shaolin kick, shoulder smash, or macho yell. If C isn't blocked, the game will auto block for you if you aren't pressing anything when attacked. You can roll by crouching, then holding down forward or down back. Pressing A while jumping straight up would do a jump kick. Pressing A during a forward jump would do a flying kick. A while crouching would do a sweep. Back attacks can be done by pressing back and A together. And holding up while pressing A does an uppercut. You can grab enemies by being close, holding forward and then pressing A. You can press A again for a scissor kick, or press back and A to throw them to the other side. I don't use this often since they will sometimes counterattack and push you back when you try to grab them. The most interesting part is the punch button itself. Holding up forward or down forward will put Sketch Turner in a stance. Pressing A while holding up forward will make him do high kicks, and holding down forward will make him do low kicks. And standing will make him punch like normal. Landing one of these attacks repeatedly will result in Sketch Turner performing a powerful attack that sends most enemies flying. High kicks end with a jump kick. Punches end with a scissor kick. And low kicks end with a Shaolin kick. Another important note is that these enders can be done with the punch button. Up, down, then A is Shaolin kick. Down, up plus A is scissor kick. And shoulder tackle can be done with back forward A. The shoulder tackle can also be used when pressing A while moving into a breakable door or object. But be warned, doing these moves manually with the A button or automatically with the C button does come with a cost, but more on that later. Sketch can throw a paper plane by holding A while standing. This does leave him open, but the plane deals a considerable amount of damage and can outright destroy bosses in one hit. It does take away some of his health however, and he won't be able to do it if his health is too low. So unless you're going for some kind of speed run, this isn't something you need to use often. When hanging on pipes and ropes, A will do a forward kick, down A will do a kick that hits enemies below, up and A will hit enemies on both sides, and you can also hold up and tap forward in the pattern to climb faster than usual. Not needed, but it's there. Last but most important, Sketch can cancel some of his moves into other moves. After doing high kick, you can cancel it into a punch or even a low kick. Same goes for starting with punch or a low kick. Mastering this technique can be really useful. While you can't do enders since you're constantly switching between attacks, it makes it hard for enemies to block these attacks since you're constantly switching where your attacks are hitting them. Just a few of them can knock down an enemy fast, and at times, they are much more efficient than just pressing the same attack repeatedly. This isn't mandatory to learn in order to beat the game, but learning this can make dealing with enemies much easier, especially since enemies will block more often in the later stages. But of course, combat isn't all about using your bare hands, so let's go over the items. Throughout the game, you can find items that will help you on your journey. They can only be used when on the ground or while climbing. These items can save time, deal with enemies, save health, or even all of the above. Besides roadkill, all of these items are one use only, so use them wisely. Here are all obtainable items that can be found in the game. The knife is an item that's drawn in a straight line. It doesn't do much damage to enemies, but it can knock them down. It can also be used to hit switches that are otherwise unreachable. The Ice Tea recovers about 50 to 60% health. These are vital if you want to survive throughout the game, since even attacking objects costs health. More on that later. Sketch sets the bomb right in front of him, exploding after a brief while. This bomb does a good amount of damage to enemies and can be used to destroy objects and doors. Just be careful when using it, as explosions in this game can hurt Sketch as well. Roadkill is Sketch's pet rat. While he can attack enemies, he should mostly be used to flick switches, find hidden items, and even find hidden paths. The only reason to use him for attacking is against Mongolias. On contact, he can force them to jump out of the screen, effectively one-shotting them. Roadkill is the only item in the game where you can pick him back up after use, but he can die to enemies and explosions, so take care of him. The grenade works similar to the bomb, except this time, Sketch throws it in an arc. It's great for enemies above and does a good amount of damage. It can also make quick work of some bosses when used in the right situation. The superhero item turns Sketch into a superhero. He will punch the ground and hit all enemies on the screen. This kills enemies in one hit and does a good amount of damage against bosses. There's also a unique way to use this against a boss in episode 2. If used at the right time, it can force him out of the conversation between him and Sketch in the beginning. This situation is more for speedrunning, so just stick with using it against a screen of enemies. The surprise item is, well, what's a surprise? It could be any of the items previously mentioned, or it could be... yeah. It can also turn into an explosion. Considering these items are always random, I usually avoid these for the most part, unless I'm really desperate. As mentioned earlier, enemies will get harder as the game goes on. They will block more, counter your attacks more often, and even have more health than before. That said, they are still manageable and you should be fine once you learn how to deal with them. But the biggest enemy in this game is none other than Sketch himself. Attacking cans lower your health, hitting doors lower your health, even hitting boxes lower your health. And remember what I said earlier? We are doing moves such as a shoulder tackle, scissor kick, and Shaolin kick manually with the A or C button comes with a cost. Well, guess what? Doing these moves in such a way costs health. Whether it's against an enemy or even an enemy that blocked the move, you will lose health for doing so. This is by far the worst part of the game, and considering each episode has 2 stages and you don't recover health in between stages, it's almost vital to deal with tough objects by using items. I should also mention that the paper plane is an option, but again, even that takes away health. So either way, you're going to lose health. I know I've been talking about this for a while, but I'm serious when I say the biggest enemy of the game is Sketch himself. It's such a stupid mechanic and... sorry. The last thing I want to do is turn this guide into a review of the game, so let's just talk about the actual enemies of the game. Ravis is the first enemy you encounter. He's rather easy in the beginning, but he will be a bit annoying later. He can draw projectiles and even hit you out of the air if you jump over him. In fact, plenty of the enemies in this game can hit you out of the air, so keep that in mind. You can take him out quickly if you alternate between high kicks and low kicks, as a few of them in a row would knock him out. Struggle is a rather small enemy. He can shoot projectiles and even hang on pipes. You can hit him with punches alone, but you can also alternate between punches and low kicks. If he's hanging, you can do uppercuts to knock him down, or you can also do scissor kicks and Shaolin kicks, but you're pretty much wasting health if he blocks it. If they come in pairs, try to get on one side to make it easier to deal with them. Other than that, you should be fine. The flying creature usually come in groups. They don't take a lot of hits to defeat and they only have one attack. Jump kicks and uppercuts work well against them, and Shaolin kicks outright one-shot them. Just be careful when facing them over a pit. If they hit you out of the air, you might end up falling in. The mutants have good range, but if you close the distance and mix your attacks, you can kill them very quickly. It's best not to try to grab them, since there's a chance of them morphing into another enemy, which is probably more annoying to deal with than the mutant itself. They can also shoot projectiles, and you should definitely keep them on one side like the Striggles. The cocoon crawler isn't really a threat, just keep hitting them with sweeps and they should go down without landing an attack on you. I mean, you could hit them with Shaolin kick to make it faster, but it's really not necessary unless you're going for some kind of speed run. 6 the monk is annoying at first. When you first encounter him in episode 2, you will realize that he blocks plenty of your attacks and retaliates with a counterattack. He can also hop on his stick and attack you from the top. In this situation, hit him with uppercuts. Otherwise, mix him with high and low kicks. If you time it right, you can hit him with a low kick right when he gets up and repeat the process until he is defeated. Mongoria should be an enemy that's annoying to deal with, but Roadkill can force her out of the screen on contact. If you don't have Roadkill, mixing her up with high kicks, punches, and low kicks should make quick work of her. Did I mention to keep them on one side? Pelargus is definitely the worst enemy to deal with in this game. They usually hang on ceilings and shoot springs that explode, and shoot slime attacks that bounce off walls. They can even make mines underneath them, which would deal a considerable amount of damage if you step on it. Best way to deal with them is to either use a superhero item or a grenade. Trust me, if you don't have an item, it's much more annoying. As for the bosses, I think it's better to show and not tell. After the first and second boss, I'll show a few alternate ways to beat them. As for the third and final boss, well, I already made a video on that. So if you haven't seen it yet, then here's the link. I'll also leave it in the description as well. With that being said, now on to the long play.
Test 1, 2. Sega.
Well done, Turner.
Oh yeah.
Come on! Well done, Turner. Come on! Well done, Turner.
Oh yeah.
Come on! Come on!
Your kung fu is good. Oh yeah.
Well done, Turner.
Oh yeah.
See ya. See ya. See ya. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Come on! I'm drowning!
Test 1 2.
Sega.